Jackson's eyes snapped open to the hiss of escaping cryogenic fluid. The stasis pod's lid retracted with a mechanical groan that echoed through the empty chamber. He gasped, his lungs burning as they remembered how to breathe. The last thing he recalled was the laughter, the cruel, chittering laughter of the Velcrin crew as they sealed him inside. Just a prank, human, they had said in their clicking language. You'll wake up tomorrow. But the chronometer on the wall told a different story. 1,247 years had passed. Jackson pulled himself from the pod, his muscles protesting after more than a millennium of disuse. The station around him was silent, coated in a thick layer of dust. Emergency lighting cast everything in a sickly orange glow. He stumbled to a viewport and froze. The galaxy had changed. Where Earth's sun should have been, there was only darkness. The star charts were unrecognizable, and floating in the distance, he saw the wreckage, thousands of derelict ships from dozens of species, all drifting like tombstones in the void. Computer, Jackson croaked, his voice rough. Status report. The station's AI flickered to life, its holographic interface struggling through corrupted data. Welcome back, Jackson Chen. You have been in stasis for 1,247 years. Current galactic status: critical. The Velcrin Empire has fallen. The Great Silence has lasted for 812 years. Jackson's mind raced. The Velcrin, those arrogant bastards who had put him in stasis as entertainment, were gone. Everyone he had ever known was dust. But he was a human, and humans were notorious for one thing: they adapted. Show me everything, he commanded. Elizabeth stood on the bridge of the Remnant's Hope, the last operational warship of the coalition of survivors. Around her, representatives from 7 different species monitored their dying systems. They were the last holdouts, the final sparks of civilization in a galaxy consumed by the void swarmer, silicon-based hive mind that had emerged from dark space 8 centuries ago. Commander Elizabeth, her second officer, a 4-armed Theshan named Crix, reported, "We've detected a signal. It's ancient Prosilent, coming from Sector 449. Elizabeth's heart skipped. Prosilent's technology was their only hope. The old empires had possessed weapons and knowledge lost to time. Set course immediately." As the Remnant's Hope limped toward the coordinates, Elizabeth studied the signal's origin. It was a research station, one of thousands the Velcrin had scattered across space during their golden age. Most had been picked clean or destroyed, but this one was still broadcasting. Jackson had spent 3 weeks alone on the station, and in that time he had learned everything. The AI's databases, though corrupted, painted a grim picture. After his stasis began, the Velcrin had continued their expansion, growing arrogant and complacent. They had awakened something the void swarm, and it had consumed them. One by one, the great civilizations had fallen, but Jackson had also found something else: the Velcrin's secret research. They had been studying Earth, studying humans, trying to understand what made them different, and they had discovered something terrifying. Human neural patterns were incompatible with the swarm's hive mind frequency. The swarm literally couldn't process human consciousness. Jackson smiled grimly. The Velcrin had imprisoned the one thing that could have saved them. He had spent every waking hour since designing a solution. The station's manufacturing bay was ancient but functional. Using principles of human neurology, he had created a broadcast array, a weapon that would emit human consciousness patterns across subspace. It wouldn't kill the swarm, but it would confuse it, blind it, give the survivors a fighting chance. The only problem: he needed a ship to deploy it at the swarm's central nexus. When the Remnant's Hope appeared on his sensors, Jackson knew his wait was over. Elizabeth couldn't believe what she was seeing. A human, an actual human. The species had been declared extinct for over 900 years, lost when Earth's sun had been consumed by the swarm in its first expansion. Jackson stood in the station's docking bay, looking impossibly out of place in his ancient uniform. But his eyes burned with something Elizabeth recognized. Purpose. "Commander Elizabeth," he said, somehow already knowing her name. "I'm Jackson Chen, and I have a plan to stop the swarm." Elizabeth wanted to dismiss him as delusional, but as Jackson explained his theory, demonstrated his prototype, and showed her the Velcrin research, she felt something she hadn't experienced in years: hope. The human brain operates on quantum uncertainty principles that the swarm's silicon matrix can't integrate, Jackson explained, his hands moving rapidly over holographic displays. "To them, we're noise, static, and if we broadcast that static on a massive scale, we blind them," Elizabeth finished, her mind racing with possibilities. "Long enough for your people to strike," Jackson confirmed. "But I need to get this array to their nexus." I need your ship. Elizabeth looked at her crew, saw the same desperate hope reflected in their faces. They had been running for so long. This human, this ghost from a dead era, was offering them a chance to fight back. We deploy in 6 hours, Elizabeth declared. Mr. Chen, welcome to the Coalition. The Remnant's hope emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the swarm's territory. Jackson's broadcast array humming with power. As they pushed deeper into enemy space, the swarm's vessels converged millions of organic silicon hybrids, all connected to one terrible intelligence. Jackson activated the array. The effect was immediate. Human neural patterns, complex and chaotic, flooded subspace. The swarm's ships faltered, their perfect coordination dissolving into confusion. It was as if they had suddenly gone blind and deaf. All ships, advance, Elizabeth commanded, and the Coalition fleet small but determined surged forward. As explosions bloomed across the void and humanity's echo disrupted an ancient evil, Jackson stood at the viewport watching the battle unfold. The Velcrin had put him in stasis as a joke, thinking humans were insignificant. They had been wrong. Humans didn't just survive, they adapted, they planned, and when they woke up, they changed everything. Jackson smiled. Tomorrow finally came.